5 reasons people are ditching their Glocks. If choosing a gun boils down to a popularity contest, it's almost pretty clear that the Glock comes to the top of the list. Since its humble beginnings, this brand has already dominated the civilian law enforcement and military market. And it's just a thing in the United States. All over the world, you can see Glock guns being actively used in various applications. Its reign on the top has been going for quite a long time today. However, its dominion is about to end. Recently, there have been talks in the bushes that Glock guns are currently the most returned brand of handguns. If this rumour's true, what could be causing it? Well, I dug into the potential reasons, and these are some of the ones that I can think of. Hello everyone, this is Joe from Line 45, and in this video, I've assembled the possible explanations as to why the Glock is slowly being discarded by shooters. Of course, these are my mere takes on this issue, but feel free to contest my arguments in the comments section below. Before we get underway, please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons. I know it's a chore, but these simple clicks help my channel immensely. Now, let's return to the video. First reason, the absence of manual safety. Now, don't get me wrong, I know that Glock pistols are extremely safe because of their trigger blade safety. However, let's keep in mind that these Glock guns are inherently tailored for military and tactical usage. Specifically, these personnel were trained on how to handle these guns properly and safely. So, we can also argue that trigger blade safety isn't the reason why no individuals with proper training have shot themselves with these Glocks. If you give the Glock to someone with no training, the absence of manual safety could really be a problematic and risky issue. Accidental discharges could just be a second away, and depending on the circumstance, these hazards could really cost someone's life. A manual safety is still a welcomed feature for modern guns. It's a kind of protection that gives you relief. Despite the number of generations of Glock, it still didn't consider putting this component into its product. I mean, it's not that hard, and it will not really affect anyone's performance. Second reason, diminished patents. One interesting thing about these guns is the patents that were embedded in their construction. With these patents, distinct features of these firearms can't be replicated by other companies for specific periods. Let's take the patent of the Glock Gen 3. The third generation of Glock pistols was launched in the market in 1998. If the patents for these guns were released in the same year, all of them would have already expired in 2018, assuming that the patents had a 20-year validity. Hence, it's no longer surprising that you can find a plethora of Glock Gen 3 clones in the market today. And they're appealing alternatives to many shooters for a number of reasons. They aren't that pricey, and they give the performance and quality of a Glock without buying a Glock. And none of these Glock gun manufacturers are ashamed that their firearms are labelled as Glock guns. In fact, they're quiet about it. For example, the Dagger of Palmetto State Armory and the PFC-9 and the PFS-9 are among those great Glock clones you might want to check out. But I hear you ask, why get a clone when you can get the original thing? Well, a lot of people want to try something new. Even if you establish the idea that Glock pistols are better than their replicas, they don't have the novelty that many shooters are always seeking. Needless to say, the appearance of these clones is different from Glock. Their similarities lie in their mechanical components. In fact, these clones could be more handsome, proficient, and affordable than their predecessors. Third reason, sights feel cheap. Alright, let's talk about Glock's plastic sights. In close-up action, like in tight spaces, no one's really relying on factory sights anyway. You learn to shoot by feel in training courses, like point and shoot, without even glancing at the sights. So yeah, plastic sights do the job, but they're still, well, plastic. Why does that matter? Well, it's all about the bucks, man. Glocks used to be the go-to for affordable, reliable pistols, but nowadays there are a ton of plastic frame guns that come with metal sights and won't burn a hole in your wallet. Check out the Koenig Met SFT, for instance. It's basically in the same league as the Gen 5 MOS Glock 17, both set up for optics and all that. Where they differ is ammo capacity. The Koenig packs 18 and 20 round mags right out of the box, while the Glock 17 Gen 5 MOS comes with two 17 round mags. But here's the feature that kicks Glock in the balls. The Koenig has steel sights and costs around $520. Meanwhile, the Glock has its factory plastic sights and it's at a price of $620. Even if I'm not that good at math, that's a difference of $100. And don't even get me started on the free holster that you get every time you buy a Koenig gun. In a nutshell, it's difficult to justify the price of Glock guns, given their plastic sights. As mentioned, these sights work, but if there are better options for a better price, why still go with the Glock? Fourth reason, Glock triggers feel a bit mushy. If you have used a Glock already, then you already know that their stock triggers are mushy, and nobody can downplay the flaw in that. Now, these guns are downright reliable. Pull the trigger and it goes bang, as you can already be using the appropriate ammo. It gets the job done, but let's be honest, a lot of folks swap out the trigger because it feels kinda mushy, and it's the sole reason why there's a growing aftermarket option for Glock triggers. And this particular issue has made me wonder from time to time. After all, Glock has the right capabilities to change this, and they should have done this a long time ago. Back in the day, Glock didn't have much competition. But now, man, there are so many other guns out there with plastic frames, and some of them come with awesome triggers right out of the box. Take the Walter PDP Compact for example. It's pretty similar to the Glock 19 Gen 5 MOS. When you look at these specs, both hold 15 rounds and are ready for optical sights. The big difference, well, besides how they look, it's mainly the quality of the trigger. Their prices also vary too. The PDP Compact is significantly more expensive than the Glock 19 Gen 5 MOS. There's a $100 difference between the two. But if I'm going to pick one, my choice is definitely the PDP Compact, due to its smooth and creep-free trigger. As its reset is definitely short, ideal for making quick follow-ups. To be fair, the Glock 19 Gen 5 MOS has a trigger that is better than its predecessors. However, its reset is long, and it doesn't feel that smooth, especially when compared with other really smooth triggers. Fifth reason, Glock guns look bland. We also need to talk about the aesthetic of Glock guns. Man, that old school blocky design of Glock pistols is a bit bland. I know I'm not the only one on this boat, but the look of Glock guns is too tiring to the eyes already. Of course, I'm not a specialist when it comes to aesthetics, but I know a handsome gun whenever I see one. And Glock, although it's painful to say, doesn't have good looking firearms. Even budget friendly guns like the Taurus G4X have more going on with them than the looks department. Gaston Glock, the guy who built these things back in the late 70s and early 80s, didn't really care about making a beauty queen. The slide looks like a brick that's been slightly rounded off, so it doesn't slice your hand when you're loading it. Meanwhile, its frame feels like plastic, with a tiny beaver tail and some grip texture. The whole thing is, let's be real, pretty ugly. If high points are a 10 on the ugly modern pistol scale, Glocks are easily a 9. Now, I get why some folks have a soft spot for the plain Jane Glock look. When these guns first came out, there was nothing else like them. But fast forward to today, and man, the competition has stepped up their design game. Just look at the guns from Sig Sauer, Smith & Wesson, Ruger, Walter, and even Taurus. None of them look as dated as Glocks. Sure, Glock fans will say, who cares if it's ugly? It's reliable. And yeah, I get that. But let's be honest, when it comes to style, Glocks has kind of missed the boat. That's it for now. Thanks for watching the video. If you want to see more gun videos like this, just click the subscribe button and notification bell. Take care and stay safe.